Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Reserved Investments. And today, we're talking about the wonderful, wacky world of fine art. Because my inbox is overflowing with people asking me, Sean, why the flippin' H would anybody pay $6.2 million for what amounts to be a banana duct taped to a wall? Now, to be fair here, the art market is crazy, as you're going to see in this video. But I do have to state, this particular piece that I created, note, this is a more enhanced version than Comedian, which is the piece of art that did sell for $6.2 million, which is nothing more than a banana duct taped to a wall. This one, though, is the upgraded edition, because instead of taping it to a wall, we taped the banana to this nice little serving tray. So if you get hungry and you want a snack, you just call me up. I send you this. You send me $6.2 million and you get this nifty banana duct taped to this styrofoam serving tray. So it's almost like, kind of like ordering like a really expensive to-go meal where you pay me $6.2 million and you get this handy dandy thing shipped to you. I will pay the shipping charges. You don't have to worry. You give me $6.2 million, I'll even personally deliver this thing to you. Now, with that being said, let's, on a serious note, talk about this, because there's an excellent scene in the original Matrix movie where Neo goes to meet the Oracle and he comes across this little kid, and this little kid is like bending a spoon with his mind, and he looks at Neo and he says, Neo, there is no spoon. This is exactly how you have to analyze the fine art market if you're going to survive the fine art market. You see, this is what people do not understand. Every time a piece of art or some unique idea like this comes up for auction and people pay a tremendous sum of money for this, I get emails from people telling me, well, Sean, I could have produced that piece and sold it for $6 million. Or if you guys remember, a couple of years back, Banksy, if you know who Banksy is, he's a well-known, very high-end artist. He had a piece of art that shredded in its frame when it was being auctioned off. And that particular piece sold for like, I think, close to $2 million. Well, what people don't realize is after that incident occurred, that piece was later resold, and it resold again at a much higher price. It sold for like $23 million because it was known as the piece that was shredded when it went up for bid the first time. So artists have been using these kind of manipulation tactics, these tricks to get people to part with their hard-earned money, and it has always worked. The reason why it works, though, and this is what the average person doesn't understand, is because in order to sell a banana duct taped to a wall for $6.2 million, you have to have the credibility of being an artist who is able to do that. Now, throughout history, I'm going to give you some examples here. If you can kindly look at the screen. I'm going to show you this piece right here. If you can see the screen, all is what that is. That is a red square. As a matter of fact, that piece is named Untitled. The artist who created this piece back in 1970, his name is Mark Rothko. Are you aware if the original version of this piece, Untitled, this red block that you're seeing on your screen right now, if this would ever come up for bid, it would sell for millions of dollars? And again, this is something that either you get or you don't. Because a lot of people, when they look at this, they go, well, Sean, I could easily go to the art store, buy a piece of canvas, throw red paint on it, and I can come up with this piece. You're correct. You probably could. The problem is you don't have the credibility to pull this off. If you guys watch this channel for any length of time, you should know one of my favorite artists of all time is Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol, back in 1982, created this little doohickey that you see on your screen. All is what it is a series of dollar signs that he painted in vivid colors. Are you aware today these dollar sign paintings range from 6 figures all the way up to 7 figures, depending on their provenance. Now, people wonder, why are people paying a premium for this? Well, Andy Warhol once said that making money is art, and working is art, and good business is the best art. Andy Warhol had no qualms taking people's money and giving them the bare minimum when it comes to art. A lot of artists do this, guys. The reason that they can get away with it is because they have the credibility. They have the name attached that allows them to slap a banana on the wall with duct tape, and somebody will come along and pay $6.2 million for it. Now let's talk about this piece, because what people don't realize is there's a lot of people that read a lot of the stories online, or maybe they watched something in the news media about this piece, and they say, well, that's completely ridiculous. The banana's going to rot, or the banana's going to fall off the wall, and it's going to become worthless. The individual that bought this piece, though, knew exactly what he was doing, because he's a well-known cryptocurrency entrepreneur. And he also got a certificate of authenticity when he bought this piece that is signed by the artist. That particular certificate of authenticity gives the individual the right to reproduce this piece. That's what makes it valuable. It's the fact that that individual bought a one-of-a-kind thing that no one else can have. Again, going back to the Matrix, there is no spoon. It's a interpretation of that object, of that item that is scarce, because in most cases, it's one of a kind. That's what makes this stuff have value. You know, one of the things that always fascinates me, you guys know me now, if you read my work, my articles that I write for Antiques and Auction News, or maybe you just know me through this YouTube channel. You guys should know that I'm educated not only in art and antiques, but of course also collectibles. And for years in the antiques and collectibles trade, there's kind of been this silent war going on between a lot of the younger collectors who covet a lot of the items that they go after, they buy, they collect, they speculate on, they invest, because they have a nostalgic attachment to them. Well, on the other side of the equation, you have high-profile art critics, collectors, antique purists that love the rarity, that love the fact that the items they're going after are limited in scope. And there seems to be this war where a lot of younger collectors that are geared towards a lot of pop culture collecting categories, whether it be comic books, vintage toys, Pokemon cards, video games, whatever it is, those particular items are new and exciting because a lot of those individuals grew up with them. The problem is, and I've said this many times on this channel, most of those items are extremely mass produced. There's a ton of copies out there of Super Mario Brothers. Now, granted, if you're going after a first edition, sticker sealed appearance of Super Mario Brothers that's graded by WADA or who knows in a high grade like 9.4, obviously there's far less copies of that kind of game in existence than just any loose copy of Super Mario Brothers. But make no mistake, both those Super Mario Brothers games, whether it's a late release cartridge only version or the first edition sticker sealed Super Mario Brothers, they were mass produced. When we start talking about very rare pieces of art, certain antiques, certain items where there's only one of a kind of them in existence, they are coveted because their rarity cannot be disputed. It doesn't mean they always make good investments. There are people that have paid incredible sums for things in the art world that have literally dropped in price over the years. I want to be very clear here. Just because you invest in art or antiques versus that of collectibles doesn't always mean that you're a more intelligent investor than the people that are collecting Pokemon cards or great at video games. What I am saying, though, guys and gals that watch this channel, you need to understand that rarity, provenance, and scarcity as well as demand matter in these markets just as much as nostalgia and exposure to these types of collectibles. You know, if you're my age, if you're in your 40s or 50s and you're watching this channel, chances are you grew up playing video games. You grew up reading comic books. So you tend to have an emotional attachment to those types of items. That's why as people age, they tend to collect the things that they grew up with. Well, on the other end of the spectrum, there are people that choose to go after extremely scarce, extremely rare items that have just an allure to them where the average person can't simply go and buy them or they can't afford them. And that is something that makes something like this so appealing to the individuals that can afford to buy this type of art. So I just wanted to do a video on this because ever since this auction went off, I have been getting pummeled with messages through LinkedIn, Facebook, even certain YouTube comments on older videos where people are asking me to do a video on this. So you just have to level set and understand that if you're a prominent artist out there who already has street cred, you have a lot of credibility, art critics know who you are, you can simply take a banana, tape it to a wall, and get millions of dollars for it. I'm sorry, but that's the way the art market is. You know, I'm going to leave you with this closing thought. When I first started my would-be career, because I was very young at this point, in the antiques and collectibles trade, I had one of my mentors tell me that the art, antiques, and collectibles trade is one of the most superficial businesses you could ever get into because there's a lot of narcissistic people operating in these markets. There's a lot of people that just have money to burn. And if you come from an economically challenged background, if you're one of those individuals out there that are struggling, you may not be able to wrap your head around the fact how somebody can just spend $6.2 million on the rights to a banana taped to a wall with duct tape. And I get it. I can see why certain people would be amazed or upset over that happening in our over-capitalistic society where consumption is the norm. But just understand, that person got a certificate of authenticity with that item. And they will most likely at some point attempt to auction that item off again. And we'll have to see what it sells for. With the case with the Banksy painting that was shredded in the frame, the original buyer only paid, I think it was close to $2 million for it. It was later resold for, I think, 23, 24 million. So it worked out for that individual. So make no mistake, there is an investment element to pieces like this, as crazy as it sounds, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you are lucky, I will see you in another upcoming video.